My Father and my God, we come before you this evening with thanksgiving in our hearts for who you are in our lives. Father, as we celebrate Vicky and Alex for their 50th, we thank you for all that you have done for them. And we pray, my Father, that you be them with you all the time. And we have the food that is set for us to eat. And we enjoy it, pray that you bless it as you have it. Not forgetting those who don't have, that you will be blessed in the church. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Asante sana. Thank you so much.
Bye.
anniversary. And I hope you've enjoyed your time so far. I hope you've enjoyed the music. Most of us, or some of us, had no idea the era of that music, so I hope it was enjoyed quite a bit. As you enjoy the dessert, I would like to get us started on some of the special people who will speak today. Just regarding my parents and what they know. And if I'm really honest, I really hope to hear secrets. So I'd like to begin with Uncle John Howard. You can come and just say a few words. Mr. John Howard. How are you waiting for yourself? It's fine.
Thank you. Friends and family, friends of Alex and Vicky Leteipan, Karibu Sana, Abandelu. It's so good to have you here tonight. Alex and Vicky, thank you so much for the wonderful ceremony that we had at St. Peter's Church earlier today when you got married again for the second time, which I think is unheard of, but very welcome. Karibuni, Alex and your bride. And thank you, because it took us down memory lane and we remember a lot of things. It is really incredible to see that many of Alex's and Vicky's friends are able to come here, especially from Mombasa. I know there are many from Nairobi and Kajiado who would have wanted to be here, but I think they intended that this be a bit of an intimate time for all of us. So, karibuni sana. In my house, or in my home, my wife, Mahaki, is the custodian of memory. My wife can remember somebody she met 30 years ago. She can remember the name, where they met, what they wore. I'm the exact opposite. In fact, one of these days I'm going to forget my own name. It's that bad. And because of that, I thought, let me not risk just standing here and talking about Alex and Vicky over the last 50 years, because I know there are so many things that I either would forget or be unable to say properly. So I've just written something kidogo just to remind, especially our peers, the people that grew up with Alex and Vicky, mixed with them in Nairobi and Mombasa, so that we can have a very, very brief history about what is it that has made them and also enable them to be here on the 31st of May 2025, 50 years after they married, on the 31st of May 1975. And I think this is incredible that Vicky, was it on a Saturday in Nairobi? Isn't it incredible that on exactly the same day, same date, 50 years later, we have the anniversary. Please give them a huge round of applause. Thank you so much. So I'm just going to read a few things that I wrote. I hope we'll be a little bit more enlightened about the story. This brief history serves to reveal Alex. Sorry, that's a page 2. I think I should start on page 1. If you remember the sound of music, that's what it recommended. Let's start at the very beginning. Please start for me. This is not a biography, so please don't pay too much attention to the absence of names or places. Rather, it is a portrait of two people who met, became in love, married, started a family, brought up their children to successful adulthood, thrived in their individual careers, and built many memories. They are friends, lovers, partners, and today we celebrate 50 years of that unity. In the mid to late 1960s, annual school dances were arranged to encourage adolescent boys and girls to meet and socialize in a controlled environment. Some of my friends use that term differently. They say it was a happy hunting ground. Alex first met Vicky by chance in one such event, and sparks flew. The morale finally met its match. Alex, already putting his sharp mind to good use, pulled some strings to ensure that Vicky was invited to the very next dance. This, no doubt, impressed Vicky. At any rate, their friendship moved past the acquaintance level. They kept in close touch and dated regularly. The swinging 60s ended and the splendid 70s took over. Nairobi was most definitely the place to be, and Alex and Vicky were Nairobians to boot. They were part of the in-crowd of boomers that thrived in music, movies, meat, roads, and motorbikes, of friendships and relationships, of parties and partnerships, of liquids and laughter, of love and betrayal, of handshakes and fisticuffs, and yes, of the fine-tuning the heart towards searching and searching and perhaps finding. Alex courted Vicky for close to 10 years, during which time they both welcomed opportunities to improve their lives through both education and employment. Alex selected accounting at Strathmore College. Vicky completed her Form 4, worked for a number of organizations including the Treasury Department and Robilat Paints, acquired excellent secretarial certificates and experiences, and was then snapped up by East African Airways as a ground hostess. At college, Alex excelled in accounting, and then Kenya Breweries and KPA both vied for him. A close friend and mentor successfully persuaded him towards the latter, KPA. It was the best decision that he ever made. He moved to Mombasa and was in time allocated a huge company house in Kizingo. Needless to add, it became the epicenter of many a swinging party. Mind you, we, his friends, were merely trying to help him to settle down. In the meantime, Alex and Vicky's relationship blossomed. In 1973, at a party at his close friend Darius Bella's home, Alex slipped an engagement ring on a delighted Vicky's finger. And then, 1975 arrived. What a year. For those of you who missed out, that was when the dollar meant 7.5 shillings. A bottle of Tusker, 3 shillings 50 cents. Mombasa to Nairobi bypass, 30 more. The shilling truly was king, and life was good. Beyond Kenya, the Vietnam War ended, and the Iron Lady Margaret Thatcher rose to power. Bill Gates launched Microsoft and changed the world. People who saw the movie Jaws couldn't sleep for weeks. Ned Campbell became a rhinestone cowboy, and Carl Douglas taught us to battle for love with kung fu fighting. That year, Alex and Vicky were married on the 31st of May at the St. Andrew's Church in Nairobi and held a reception at the All Saints Cathedral. The following day, Vicky became a citizen of Mombasa. And before long, they bought a house in Nyali. Vicky was snapped up by British Airways branch in Mombasa. She loved her work and committed to it, rising to the very top within her decade of service. Under until the company formally closed shop soon after. Soon after, she and a few associates launched Jubilee Travel Center Limited, whose quality services became renowned. 2 decades later, and after much success, Vicky decided to call it a day in 2013. Alex's career at KPA thrived, and he rose to become head of internal audit. By then, politics was surely and negatively impacting public institutions. I'm sure you all know what I mean. Inevitably, his strict adherence to corporate accounting principles soon created bitter enmities at the top of the pyramid. The only solution was to transfer him to Kenya Ferry Services as the general manager. There, he worked to introduce professionalism and efficiencies and to straighten the corporate finances. He remained at the helm for 11 years until retirement. Perhaps with great relief, he entered into private consultancies with a group of private companies, a mission that he loves and enjoys to this very day. That's page 2 of 57. This brief history serves to reveal Alex and Vicky as a couple who have worked together as close partners in everything, assured that every effort contributed to a brighter future for themselves and especially for their children. Those children started arriving soon after they were married, with Salatul paving the way in 1976, followed by the Leteipan in 1979, Lomina in 1982, and Soitanai in 1983. 4 handsome morons. By the way, it is not true that Alex threatened Vicky not to produce a whole school of girls. Alex and Vicky's relationship with the church had begun early. Both of them came from families where the Christian faith was not just important, but non-negotiable. In Mombasa, they chose to worship at the Memorial Cathedral. Vicky had always loved singing in the choir, and she was readily absorbed. Alex, despite having to work 24/7, plus overtime at KPA, to pay for the growing family's bills, offered his services wherever he was called, including administration, finance, and even teaching Sunday school children. Later, they joined St. Peter's Church in Nyali and continued to serve in similar and varied capacities and remain committed to this day. If you have listened carefully to anecdotes from Alex and Vicky at their Nyali home veranda, you begin to understand how they have arrived safe and secure at their 50th wedding anniversary. From my perspective, the qualities can be reduced to a firm and enduring faith in God, strong mutual respect, good communication, astute home and financial management, and a solid sense of partnership. No doubt, they too have overcome the types of frictions that ambush married couples from time to time. But I believe that their knowledge of where they came from, how they have come there, how much further they desire to go, the blessings they have received as a family, and the responsibility they have for their immediate and extended families, quickly prioritize issues and invite genuine forgiveness. I'm also certain that this unity has been central to their decision making, in the way that they have brought up and provided for their children, and the sacrifices of availing quality education. And they continue to offer them love and support even into adulthood. The Leteipans remain a close-knit family, and their young men will move every obstacle to ensure that they are present whenever their parents ask of them. Vicky comes from a rich background of professional hospitality, and that has opened up doors for them to travel around the world. This shared interest and the memories that it creates undoubtedly further cements their relationship. God has readily answered many a prayer and guided them to many, many good things. Yet, He has also been present to offer healing and comfort, even in their darkest hours, as in the loss of a beloved child and the survival of a horrific attack that very nearly cost Alex his life. Interestingly, Alex is a man of unwaveringly strong political views. So much so that one time we feared that he was addicted, and we nearly sought professional help from his brother-in-law, Captain Frank Jacob. However, he never allowed his love of political debate to cascade into a decision to actually become a politician. Firstly, his resolute integrity would have made him a distinct outsider. Secondly, Vicky would have breathed fire, enough fire to torch half of Mary. I believe that both Alex and Vicky have experienced Christ in a very real sense. And they know for sure that he, in turn, is the only other partner that they need to invite into their marriage. That he leads, he heads that relationship, and that they can trust him to the end through faith. Alex and Vicky, you are a source of unity to your large families, and you constantly prioritize, and an inspiration to your many friends who are on a similar journey and who are witnesses that with God, anything is possible. Please accept our heartfelt congratulations as you celebrate your golden anniversary. May the Lord continue to care for you and to bless you and your family. And may you live to enjoy many more years of togetherness. And to those of you who also want to make it to 50, remember this. Marriage is a relationship in which one person is always right and the other is a husband.
Thank you very much. Round of applause again, please. Round of applause again for Uncle John. And I didn't expect to get them that quickly. While Uncle John was speaking, my younger brother Sergei whispered to me, "What is Robilac?" And I didn't know how to begin to explain to him. And he was like, "When did Mom work for Robilac?" And then I was like, "Sergei, we were not here. We were yet to be invited." Anyway, thank you very much, Uncle John Bogo. I would like to call upon my Auntie Sofiato, Dr. Vicky Leteipan, to please come and say a word on behalf of our family. Makofi, please. Makofi, please. Makofi, please.
Thank you very much. I don't know whether it was written or typed in big screen. Mine is handwritten, so all over the place. I'll just start somewhere now. I know you people know that we're related to Alex, and I'm going to speak. I've been asked to speak on behalf of the family. You want me to shout like they do in churches? Okay, so hallelujah. So the family is Alex Leteipan. The family is Vicky, who used to be the other one we don't discuss anymore, right? So I decided I'm just going to talk about family in general and put a few things about this particular family, right? From the Maasai side, Alex is a Leteipan. I am a Nikimani. There is some Tabenos. There are others who are not able to come here. All of us come from the same grandfather who was the first Nikimani. So that's how we're related, all right? And then, you know how the old families were? There were 8 sisters, 3 brothers, and that's 11 children. So we got to know each other according to the age. So Alex, being an older Leteipan and the older Leteipans than us, the older Nikimanis, we grew up like brothers and sisters because we all lived in the same compound. We all knew each other. We all a place called Kerarapon, which some of you have heard of. You go towards Gong, you pass that thing of transmitting radio, and then you turn right. And when the road stops, that's where we came from. Kimasai is called the Ignorant Road because there used to be a lot of buffaloes there. Alright? We grew up together. So Alex is not my cousin. He is my cousin brother. In fact, he's my brother cousin. He's more my brother than he's my cousin. He has always been, and by the way, when I was trying to put some notes together, I said, he's the remaining brother I have. That's it. Okay? So he's my brother. Right? Vicky, all of us were in Nairobi. All of us were the early African professionals. Alexis was doing Stratford, we were all doing high school. Vicky's dad is in the graduate service. My father is in the Ministry of Health. So it was all like, like a bit of an extended village. So we all grew up together, we all knew each other. So by the time we realized that the people are dating, it was a bit of a shock. We're all in the same, we hang out together all the time. We know each other. Then the school dancers, they came, they went to high school, not very long. Many of those little dances, you had to negotiate with your parents, you had to be very good, ask permission. Jenga Mzee was very modern. He used to take his children to these dances and wait in the car park. Until the dance is finished, and then take his children home. And he kept saying, why doesn't dancing and this is the way to do it? Because that's what it was very difficult for us to get to dance. But he was very forward-looking, he was a very modern man, at a time when mini skirts had not arrived, high heels had not arrived, you went to meet somebody, you drank, I don't even think we drank tea. There was that red drink, there was a drink called Victor, and we went at the there was no beer, no. I first started looking out for 21 women. That's how we was. That's how we were. Okay? The dating we went about. There was something that Nairobi students started. We called it the National Union of Kenya Students. It sounded very good, very formal. But it was really just a way to have school dances out of school during the holidays because we needed to meet. And so we would have these things and the parents were around it, and we had a committee, and we had a chairman, and I seem to remember, I think I was, some people in charge of music, very big mistake. What's that? Some people were in charge of music, a mistake, because I was very square. The one who was really hip was my sister Sonia. She was a very hip kid. She and Vicky, like they were saying that just out of the side somewhere. Anyway, so he has this thing, and so that we can meet during holidays. So this thing that when you turn one particular, I don't know about that one. But anyway, so these two get together. Then I discovered later in life that apparently besides Mzee Jenga working with my father, which is now a professional relationship, apparently we were sort of related. And up to today I was asking something, I said, I still don't know how we related, but something to do with a place called Kanyarene. There's a place called Kanyarene, and apparently we have uncles in common or grandparents in common. So these guys were actually kissing cousins, whether they were second cousins, fifth cousins, or whatever. That is a it's an information.
Secrets. Nobody actually. Who switched me off? It was very decent. It was not indecent. Why was I switched off? Anyway, so while he's switching that, thank you.
So Naskia, they were kissing cousins. You remember that song? About kissing cousins. Kissing cousins. Then there was the other one of Calypso called Shame and Scandal in the Family. So Soya and I, my late sister, we used to play the piano. So visitors come, they usually play, we go play something. When we really were tired and we needed to just be let off, we would start playing Shame and Scandal in the Family. And then everybody would take it away because it was about The one old ones know what that song was about. So we are cousins somewhere. Second cousins, third cousins, fourth cousins, three times removed. Those terminologies we don't have in Africa, but we really all belong together. Alex, Leteipan, Vicky Leteipan, that lot, Elfrida and the Jenga and the connections and all that lot. We were all in the same pool. We're really all in the same pool, in one village. And then now I look at these people over there. So there's Frank. We end up in medicine or something related. I'm not a doctor, I did something big like that. So when Frank and Elfrida are in the UK, I'm in the UK. They were my home, they were my go-to place. I spent so much time in their house. And Elfrida, I don't know whether you remember when I was finally I persuaded you to have a farewell party in your house. And of course she says yes. So I have a farewell party. But see, I've been in the UK a lot, so my friends are always still here. So the next morning she said to me, so Kato, I didn't realize when you're having a farewell party, you're going to be doing breakfast as well. I said, so we're going to talk about, you know, so I think about kind of party. So she was very kind about it. And then going on to families, we have Leteipan, we have, where's Lucy, where's the people in purple. I mean, they're happy, right? Can't find them. You all know Ishmael, you know Lucy, okay? So to me, that's another Leteipan, another family member, right? And then I look at everybody else. People have been married, we've been introduced to other families. The family has got bigger and bigger. The priest in church is talking about them building their home, growing their home, and then extending their home. I feel in this family, we have been extending the family. We have just, got wider and wider and wider with one great big family with lots of linkages. And in fact, with Marina, when I was making this, I thought about how to end it. I thought, we're a bit like patchwork. We're a bit like patchwork, and I don't think it's just us. Patchwork is made of so many different bits, different sections, different bits. The connection between the families and the people and the takers and the gender and the who and the what and the where and so on and so forth. It's just one great big patchwork. That's what this family is. And I think it's very typical of African families. And when you've lived overseas, you've lived in the West, you've seen how their families are. You understand and you appreciate what we as Africans have as family. This is what I see family. Sometimes that's what the patchwork is, and sometimes it looks a bit untidy. Sometimes things get a bit confused, things get, uphills, downhills, difficult times, painful times, joyous times, weddings, christenings, whatever, people saying carambas for this. Everybody's always there. Everybody's always there. All of these different people, all of these different branches that I mentioned. Can we have the last one? So I see us, and I don't think we're special. I think we're just typical of an African family, how we all interlink the way patchwork does. Patchwork has something that links the whole different pieces from the bottom to the top. There's either a stitch which is similar, or there's a color which is similar, which holds everything together. And Alex and Vicky, to me, are the glue that holds this whole various machination of family together. They really are. They miss nothing. They do everything for us. It doesn't matter who or where or how or when. They are the glue that really holds us family together. And we value it. And we wish them up to 60 celebration. We wish them up to 60. Thank you.
Why am I here today? It is because of the fear I had and continue to have of my mother. On Tuesday, Vicky, my wife, had a conversation as we walked the streets of DC, and Vicky said to my wife, you know, if Mom was alive, she would force you guys to go to Mombasa. Whatever was happening in your lives, and wherever it is that you are in the world. She told me, my wife told me, that Vicky really wanted us to be here. But there was no way we were going to make it. We were in DC, we had no plans, and it was going to be impossible for us to be here this evening. Then we consulted amongst ourselves, and our daughter was with us at the time. Oh no, it can be done, it can be done, it can be done, it can be done. Said, how? You do this, go there, try this. The long and short of this story is that we have not slept and we are extremely tired, but exceedingly grateful to be here this evening. And I'm glad you are well. And I'll tell you why I am so thrilled to be here this evening. First of all, so that I can introduce you to the children of my mother. Regina, my big sister. My little sister, Candice. Grace, my brother, could not make it. So Piano has tried to paint a picture about the city life that we all led. And what a wonderful, wonderful upbringing we all had. And I'm really sad that Tom is not here. Because Tom, his brother, Albert, and my classmate, Dagi, as we used to call him, are people that, and of course their sister, Grace, are people we knew since we were talking about dog son. This John himself that you see there is not allowed to speak secrets. But he and his brothers and his sister, one sister that they had, we grew up together, no? Oh, no. This Opiato you see here with the sister, so I think I can say this because it is true. So was the most beautiful girl anyone has ever seen in our lives. And she looked more beautiful when she sang. I was telling Sophia today that she missed the occasion of my launching the autobiography that chronicles in detail some of the events that she has failed to describe in adequate detail. For example, the legendary event at which Vicky and Alex first met was in this my own hands. I was head boy at Delamere School, now Upper Hill School. And to say goodbye to myself from that school when I had finished school, I had organized a dance. And as I do things in my life generally, I invited my sister. And Alex was actually a gate crusher. Alex's uncle, Subiato's dad, lived he came to my party in hunting of my sister. And it is true, that's how they said, and I write that in my book, because it is completely true. Let us now fast forward, because there are people who transform facts in history and rewrite them. Alex is now telling me to say that Vicky invited him to the party. How can he invite somebody you don't know? And he goes to the street and says, go right to the party. Anyway, so they met and very happily, so Piano has described what happened after that. My mother and Alex's mother are cousins, so they know each other. I think they're cousins, because my mother is sister is called Rashidi, Alex's mother is called Rashidi. Son, interest. Anyway, so then, they got engaged. Negotiations were carried out. We got goats and cows and other field animals from Masai land. It was the idea of drought. But that is not the story. The real story is what happened now on that Saturday morning of their wedding. Without success, they tried to kill me. I thought you were secret. No, please. My sister Regina is an expert in catering, and she was working at the Kenya Institute of Science and Technology. And she was responsible, this is 50 years ago today, for making all the cakes that were to be eaten at the wedding at Washington Cathedral. This, my wife here, was him with child. This is true. Is it okay for me to speak truth or because the cakes were so many, it was decided that she would drive one of our cars. You can say, 50 years ago, one of our cars. Another disputed fact. I have sold my motorbike. And between Vicky and I, we had bought a car, an Austrian Minor, T065. And I was driving from Kiambu. Now, picture this. From Kiambu, Budaiga, you go down and then to the Budaiga Golf Club. Just like today. I was driving very fast. From my right appeared a car coming from the Bodega. And I slammed the brakes. And in those days, the brakes didn't work as well as they do today. Only the right side of the front wheel was stopped. The car overturned, and before I knew it, the wheels were facing up. And my legs were facing up, and the cakes were scattered. What I remember vividly, and Vicky will confirm, no, you were not there. Regina will confirm, because she was in a Volkswagen behind us. the wheels were turning round and round. My head was looking up in the air, and I got up like an expert. Lit a cigarette. And my wife was driving behind me in a Volkswagen. Released the steering wheel and said, "Oh my God, my husband." My husband, my husband, my husband. That's not the end of the story. This is it. You want to know about 50 years ago? So the wheels are turning. I'm out of the car. Shame on me if I need a cigarette. And I was smoking it. And the caddies from Tiger Golf Club all came out. The cakes were scattered everywhere, everywhere. This one was a kind of cake. They looted all the cakes. All the cakes were eaten by caddies from Tiger, and a new crisis presented itself. We now have to go to my sister's wedding without cakes. My wife was carrying a few of the cakes. I was carrying, because this little car that I had was a station wagon, and he was carrying most of the cakes. So, as the caddies of the Tiger Golf Club enjoyed the cakes, we had to deal with this crisis. We left the car on the side, near the point. Am I speaking the truth? Because you are there. This is a true story. It is true story.
And especially the people of Mama Jenga. Oh, my husband is dying.
That's what she was saying. Substantially every time, but that's not the story. So now we've left the car at the police station at Vega police station. The crisis, the real crisis has been dealt with. Where do we get cakes from? Where did we go?
Swiss cake.
Swiss cake in the city center. A near-death experience on my part, and all I'm thinking is my sister cannot get married without cakes at all. We went to Swiss cake from my pocket. Okay, from you're not even there. We bought new cakes. We took them to All Saints Cathedral, and this Vicky and Alex got married without knowing that I was about to be dead. The wedding went well. Afternoon went well. In those days, we don't look like this in their mouth. In those days, after weddings, there was something called evening party. You are not there.
I was.
Okay, you are there. Now, Alex had a friend in Adeliva. Who was it?
Yes.
So we had planned the wedding, the evening party of that night, like now this wedding party today. Not in Nairobi, but in Adeliva. To avoid the riffraff, not like you. They get Russians. So on the way to the evening party, at an RG petrol station in the west, that is when Vicky saw the old car crashed.
Oh dear.
That's the first these two knew that we had had an accident. True or not? Now, ladies and gentlemen, what is the purpose of this story? It is a story about what my father-in-law, the Ellen Adoka, told us one day. When he looked at me, I was thin, very thin. I was also very, very, very poor. Without any education. He said to us, beware humble beginnings. Don't look at this Alex and Vicky and think they have always been big. They are very, very thin, as you can see from the picture. Very, very, very humble. And by God's grace, here we are today. A coffee corner. But there is one other thing I want to say, and he told me to say briefly. I have Is it 2 nieces or 3 nieces from Atlanta?
Yes.
Two. Yes? These are children, grandchildren of my aunt. And they live and work in Atlanta. But I do want to say this, that Alex and Vicky, you don't know how lucky you are. Not because of these ones, no. But because these ones can tell you what I am about to say. Last Wednesday, some of you probably know, I was in Atlanta with an old friend who's now died, Gojo Adiomo. And one of the things that I admire, we admire, people admire about this Mombasa community is you here. Because, I don't know how you've done it, but you have put in place a scientific experiment on longevity. The science on loneliness is a killer, is robust. We just talked to Kevin Ock, Subiato's husband, my friend and colleague professionally. And let me tell you, if you want a long and happy life, move to Mombasa 50 years ago and find friends such as these ones. Your experiment is working and working well. Please, seriously. We came, when did you tell us people came in together this afternoon? Edwin and I secretly came in together from Nairobi. And among the things that we are talking about is the fact that you, Vicky and Alex, found a home in Mombasa, and please don't come back to the country. Live here where life is sweet. And finally, Alex and Vicky, allow me to very sincerely congratulate you. I think I speak for my mother and my now mother is late, your siblings, and say that we hope that you will continue in the way that you have continued. You have brought up some very good boys. But really congratulations to all of you and many thanks for listening to me. But this group is what is keeping you alive.
You repeated. I would like to introduce somebody very dear to my heart, for them to speak. This person has been the light of my heart many times, but most of the time has been a nuisance to my life. I'd like to introduce one Vicky Leteipan, my best friend and younger brother, to come and say a few words. A coffee!
Oh, what a surprise. So surprised. I didn't know I was going to speak today. Honestly, thank you so much for this opportunity. We all know you talk too much. Finally, it's my time.
I know.
And I'd love to talk about my beautiful parents, Alex Leteipan and Vicky formerly known as Leteipan. But I don't want to talk about how they met. We've heard that. We've heard about that now. We've heard about that. I'll talk about the 41 years of their most beautiful time of their life. When I was born! The day I was born, things changed. Look at that. Wow, what a surprise. I didn't even plan that, but look at that. They changed. They changed. They had had beautiful success with their first born son, Salaton. Parasin, rest in peace, passed away early. Vicky Leteipan was born. It was not easy. As soon as he was born, he couldn't stop talking. He's even talking there, here and there. And then, when I was born, it changed. My mom could get a second career because then Lorna was talking to someone else. Me. That's when my parents had true success. And since then, they have never looked back. I mean, you heard my uncle call us very clearly. She has raised two Buddha boys. Those are us. Not Salaton. That's a good man. We are the Buddha boys. Since we were born and we became brothers, we allowed our parents not to be worried about us because we had each other. And they always knew we have each other. So they could recommit themselves to the church, recommit themselves to the family, recommit themselves to the Mombasa people. A beautiful family people. I mean, wow. It's been great. Now, removing all the jokes away from it, the 41 years since I was born, being their child has been very blessed, very beautiful. I want to start from giving a lot of credit from my parents from Mombasa that I chose John and Mary Buga, obviously Uncle Tom, Auntie Janet, Ventura, Uncle Brown, Auntie Iris, Condego, Uncle Edwin, Auntie Lucy, Yella, you know, obviously Uncle Nick, Auntie Jane Muni. I mean, how do you guys, as people that raise us, focus on no matter what discipline my father might forget any part on me, I might have learned from one of them. And that was a huge blessing. I don't take that for granted. It helps me be a better human being, be respectful, but that definitely comes from the glue that we're talking about, that mom and dad you give, and the beginning is just the family we chose in Mombasa, but we start from, I don't know what to call it. We call it Wangige, Kabete, from our Kikuyu side, from the Jengas. What we have is love. One of the clear things that has been said is we're not necessarily Kikuyu, or Maasai, or Emus, or Luyas, or any tribe. We're number one Kenyan, but most of all, we're Christian. And we're raised like that to love, and that's what our Jenga side of the family raised us through. Not necessarily knowing tribe that we're raised in Mombasa, not necessarily seeing differences in how we are, but always knowing how to love your neighbor as you love yourself, and respect God, and learn how to fellowship. The Maasai side is also incredibly beautiful. The difference, Uncle Dave helping us travel to America, having my mom inspire me to become a pilot because she showed me the world with such ease. Even if it might not have come to a time of joy, it was the time that my dad's mom was concerned about her younger brother and making sure that my go check on Uncle Dave. And my dad made sure he did that every year of my life. Also part of those 41 years, but 24 years we visited my Uncle Dave in LA. We brought him joy. We're very close with his family, and that's what is so, I'm so spoiled. We're so spoiled to have him. When we talk all these families in all these different parts, I can't see difference. What I see is love, and that is all from you. And also, you know, I'm not good at speeches, so this is a lot. But thank you so much for the opportunity, Mom and Dad, for allowing me to be your son. It wasn't easy. I know I had to interview multiple times after school check, so but anyway, 41 years. Thank you.
Makofi tena first. Now for the moment you have all been trading for. It's time for me to speak. Now, I've known Alex and Vicky Leteipan from the first time I arrived on this planet. And I continue to know them today, and I continue to learn from them till today. I am the kind of person who can give a long speech because I'm much like my Uncle Frank. I can talk for hours. But I wanted to say only 3 things, or at least touch on 3 things that are the most important things I think I have learned from my parents' marriage. I'm telling you a story. Sorry. I'm obviously the problem child. Anyway, there are 3 very important things I think I've learned from their marriage. And they're going to seem strange, but they each have their importance. God, love, and friendship. I'll say that again. God, love, and friendship. Obviously, there was a reason I put God first, because in all things we must put God first. Something I learned from my parents. But you can imagine a pair of individuals who met way back in 1966 to have met the way they met. That's God. For them to have courted the way they did, that's God. The way they got married, the way they got their firstborn, the way they got their secondborn, the way they got their thirdborn, the way they raised them, the way they have come this far. All good things, all struggles. They are here today smiling. I say to you, that's God. I'll touch now on love. I know one of the things that was said in the sermon this morning is that in 1975, the population of Kenya was about 13 million. And now it's closer to 60 million. So it may appear to be that in my generation or in other generations, love seems impossible to find. I'll tell you what, or some people in my generation say, oh, you know, there were few then, so they didn't have much choice. Of course, they stayed together, all this and that. But I'll tell you this, and I've learned this from my mother and my father. The kind of love they have is transcendent. They love each other so much, so hard. They love their family. Now us, me and my Bure friend and my older brother who is fantastic. But they love their brothers, their sisters, their cousins. They love everyone with such unstoppable commitment. They love their Mombasa community. Where else in this world do you see what seems like a small flame of love turn into this blazing furnace we see right here today? Love. And now I go to friendship. For a very long time in my life, so today I talked about knowing my parents for 41 years. So what does he know? I've known them for a little longer. For a long time, there's a lot of stereotypes you would talk about when it comes to your parents. Your parents are your providers, they're your disciplinarians, they're your first educators. For the last 4 or 5 years, I've got to know a different side of my parents.
I've gotten to know them as individuals. I think there comes to an age, especially when you go past the age I am at, and I won't declare what it is, 42, where you see your parents in a different light. People out there, researchers and people say things like, oh, now you finally understand your parents as people and you start interacting. Now, I would like to say that is right, but for me, I got to know Alex and Vicky in a whole different light. And I can say right now, with absolute honesty, they have become one of my closest friends in this entire world. I don't know if I could ever say I knew their capacity to be advisors, to have such wisdom in an ever-changing world. And they teach me every day that with friendship, with love, and with God above all, everything and anything is possible. And I think today is a testament because they have made it 50 years of love, marriage, friendship, and God. That's the end of my speech. It was quite emotional for me. I love them very much because, well, they're my parents. I'm told I have to by force. Anyway, I would like, if possible, if I'm allowed, will you allow me? I would like the people here. Can you please come and serve some champagne so that I can have a toast to these lovely people. Okay. Obviously, as you can see, my dad has reminded me of a few things, so allow me to share. There are a few people who are not here with us today who would have genuinely loved to have been here. There is Tom Ochura, who would have loved to have been here. And he was my dad's best man at his wedding 50 years ago. He sent his apologies with his lovely wife, Janet Ochura. If I'm not mistaken, and Uncle John, you can correct me, you were Uncle Tom's best man? No, Uncle Tom was your best man. Uncle Tom was your best man. Uncle Tom was really known as the best man around this crew of individuals. He really must be the best man. Professional best man, yes. And if I understood correctly, the way you talked about the economy, he must have cost a pretty penny, close to 3 shillings, or 10 shillings for him to be a best man. The other individual who I'd like to give their apologies is Sanato, my older brother. He would have genuinely have loved to be here. My parents actually don't know this, but Sweetina and I tried literally to move heaven and earth to bring him and his wife Karen here. And unfortunately, due to circumstances that were beyond my control or our control, they weren't able to make it. But they did send their love, and they really wish to have been here with each and every one of you. Actually, really and truly. Another thing, oh sorry, please, yeah. Another thing my dad reminded me, and it's strange, but at my mom's wedding 50 years ago, there was a young flower girl. I think she used to go by Sally Kahan. She's now Mahigu, my Auntie Sally Mahigu. And when my dad was telling me that, it got me thinking. It really did. Because she, and I don't know if everyone knows this, but I'll share it anyway. She was a flower girl and bridesmaid. Oh, okay, bridesmaid. Bridesmaid, see, I stand corrected. I wasn't there, see, that's why. She was a bridesmaid at my mom's wedding. I was a page boy at her wedding. And Sir Laton was a page boy at Auntie Lucy and Uncle Edward's wedding. So I think I've touched on best men, page boys, groomsmen, and bridesmaids. Have I not? And all this, honestly, all this in 50 years. Hi! 50 years! It almost feels like it was just the other day. Not for me, but most. Anyway, I think, does everyone have a glass? Your glass? There is, I hope everyone has a glass. And I hope your glass has something. Something. Yangu, hakuna ama iko? Okay. So, first of all, since I'm a person who just usually says things, I didn't know I was going to be master of ceremonies until this morning, so forgive the impromptu nature of this. But I wanted to finish by saying, each and every one of you who is here, each and every one of you who is here is dear to Alex and Vicky Leteipan and their entire family. And we are, from the bottom of our hearts, on behalf of my brothers, on behalf of my sister-in-law, and on behalf of my parents, I would like to genuinely thank each and every one of you for taking the time to spend this time with us, to fellowship with us, to have a good time with us, and be part of our family for 5 decades. And now, I would like each and every one of you raise your glasses up to God, to love, to friendship, and to the greatest Maasai family each of you has ever known. Cheers! Happy anniversary, Mom, Dad.
Happy anniversary. Long life, all love.
DJ, you can start playing some music.
invited. They've already been invited to the next 50. You better switch now.
To the next 50. To the next 50. We shall be here. We win.
Thanks for this you get, and thanks for the speech that you got from everyone else. But one of the key important things is that when it comes to, before I even congratulate Alex and Vicky for 50th golden anniversary, I must say one thing because this is a time for cake, so I can't give many stories. And I actually was not in the wedding because I was in the US. I was in Florida. So and then by the time they sent the card, you know, those days there was no email, so anyway. But the story that I want to say is there are three things. There is, for their success, and I have to congratulate them, there is a families that they belong to. So there is the Leteipans and there is the Njenga family. That is what laid the foundations for them to be who they are. And then now there is a third arm, which is what Dr. Njenga was saying. It's you people who actually have nurtured it, have kept him here, and that friendship has made him look younger than he is. And we want to congratulate him. I just quickly want to introduce the Leteipans because I think we passed by. They are all here. Joyce, just say wave. Paul. Paul is here. Paul is here. Charles and Justin. Okay, Rachel. And then let's say, why is my wife? That's the family. And Pauline. You have to stand up. Yeah. And Mary Tamano, who thinks she's a cousin, but she's a sister. Yeah, that was just something quick I wanted to do. Dave Leteipan, former schoolmate of John and Tom. So we are just very happy about it. Thanks guys for coming. We appreciate it. And to Alex and Vicky, I want to congratulate you. Today I make sure I made it, but I didn't make it for the wedding. But let me say that you are inspiration. You are amazing, the two of you. I've actually also, since now, still going across the secret sessions. I cannot longer give them the secret. But I've known these people since I was in high school. Because Alex and Dick were friends when I was, I don't know, so I've known them. And I have a lot of stories for another day. But for now, let's cut the cake.
So I was told something recently about cake matrons. The person who told me about cake matrons, I was like, that sounds fake. What do cake matrons do? I don't know. So I will kindly call upon my wonderful Auntie Carol to be the cake matron.
I'm not the blind, but I'm a blind sister. I think you've all heard that joke. Tonight I'm the Mutinisia, and I'll be the Mutinisia of the cake. Mutinisia is French cake cutter or cut cake. So to Vicky and Alex, congratulations for your 50th anniversary. 50 years with one woman is not a joke. Congratulations. So in front of us is a cake. But Vicky, take the knife. Like this. Oh. Not a murder scene. It's actually just a cake here. Yeah. So kata keki which song is this? Kata usiogope. Kata
year in a row, allow me to introduce Mr. and Mrs. Alex Leteipan. And as is tradition, on a couple's wedding day, I would like them to open the dance floor. And DJ, I would like you to play their favorite song. And after they have their first dance, and that is obviously within the first, 30 seconds of the song, I would like to welcome everyone to come and dance with them as part of the celebration of 50. Unless you, Dad, Mom, do you want something to say? Because there's some people who wanted to hear from you the whole evening. You were just 17, and you know what I mean. I'm falling in love with her. How could I dance with another? Oh, so understanding. That's how we dance at Jubilee High School. And boom, and I grew. Thank you. I forgot that I got carried away. You know, Frank has been a patient with his school and with his book now. There are very many things that are mixing us up. But yes, that invitation to that school dance is how we met. I am so touched by all of you. My last to see people like Frank and Frida travel all the way from Black Atlanta to come and be with us. My brothers and sisters, Dave, Joyce, Aunt Regina, yes, Mama Junior, all of you, thank you so much. This has been a very emotional week, seeing all of you kicking down, coming down. It's only my elder sister Jane that was unable to come because she's running a church service tomorrow. We're in the village and she couldn't make it. But I just want to say to you, my last, and to my great friends here, some people who have come all the way from Nyanza today.
United Kisumu.
This is Imran running away, but I think I must introduce him also because he's my director for the group I worked for the last 20 years since I retired. So I'm just saying, thank you, you've touched our hearts. There is no way, we wanted not so big because we actually wanted to run away to Geneva to join Salaton and Karen as we did 25th in Singapore. But no visas. We didn't get a visa, so we didn't go. So we decided to just have prayers and a few of our relatives and friends to join us to say thank you to the great God who created and provided for us for the last 50 years. So just wonderfully grateful to all of you. Thank you so much. Tomorrow is a holiday because it's the Madaraka Day. That's exactly what it was in 1975. So you don't have to go back to your normal places. You can have another extra day. But thank you so much. May God bless you and continue to keep you well. May we continue to relate well, pray for each other wherever we are. And thank you so much on behalf
Oh, Vicky and myself. May God bless you.
I guess I have to say something. But I will also just repeat, thank you so much for you giving us your whole evening, all those hours you've given to us today of your life. We appreciate and thank you so much. We appreciate you all. Thank you.
Let me just say, we said thank you to the MC. Done a very good job. To thank you, but well done. Thank you so much.
DJ.